please call the roll.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Here.
Commissioner Phillips?
Present.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here.
Commissioner Gooch?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Present.
Commissioner P?
Here.
Mayor?
Here.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Vice Chair P, did you have a chance to review the minutes?
I have reviewed the minutes, found them in order, and I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Minutes stand approved. We don't have anybody for public comments. I don't see anybody for public comments, so we'll move to the next item on our agenda, and it's to appoint a vice chair for the committee. I think this is the last standing committee that doesn't have a vice chair, so the chair will entertain nominations.
I nominate Commissioner P.
Second.
Okay, we have a nomination.
Move nomination seats and Commissioner P be elected by acclamation.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. My condolences, Commissioner P.
Since when we do this out on the main floor, we normally set the time that we meet to, and I've got a suggestion.
Sure.
I've looked at the
So
calendar.
we're talking about potentially changing the time of this meeting?
that we meet. Hopefully I was clear there, I'll try to be clear. This is one week that, if we did away with this meeting, I think this whole week would be open for all the commissioners. And I would suggest that we move this up into one of the other weeks that we've already, for instance, I was looking at October, the week before the commission meeting, for instance. We could do it, I think that week is an open day. And I don't know, I think Chairman Phillips may have a better idea since he goes to all of them. You do too.
Right.
But
Are you talking about the second?
well,
Tuesday,
I'm not specifically saying the date. I'm just saying I'd like for us to at least leave this week open that we're meeting right now.
And just if I can chime in, there's no objection from the chair. What I would ask is, because I have certain things that conflict in other parts of the weeks during the days, if I can get with Rachel, who handles the calendar, and find out what other days of the weeks and times would be available, let's, if we can, just have a general discussion on this, if this is okay. Is there a time of the day, is this time of the day suitable, or is this time only suitable for this day of the week of this time of the month? See what I'm saying? So if we have this time that's 4:30 that's flexible on other days of the week and other weeks of the month, that gives me some latitude to work. So I'm looking for some guidance from the rest of the committee on what I'll be looking at as far as the conflicts in my schedule.
I mean, personally, I'm open on the times. The only thing I would ask is, for instance, I have the opioid committee meetings, and they're at 10 in the morning. We could do this meeting on the same day if it happened that y'all decide you want to do it, but as long as the time doesn't conflict.
Right, and I think the time is the most critical thing for you, is it not, Commissioner Gooch?
This time's fine.
Right, but during the middle of the day,
yes.
during the middle of the day, it's not good. I mean, you need
That
to
would
do,
be correct. Yes.
right. You need to. You can't do it any later. This is fine. Any earlier this is problematic. Correct.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well,
But 4:30 is fine.
yeah. So we want to be considerate. So if we can, if that helps out a lot. So if you will give me a little latitude, then let me find a handful of 2 or 3 dates, 2 or 3 different days of the week at 4:30 that work. Can we do it that way? And then can we just go ahead and pick, and I'll get that together, and then what I'll do is I'll bring that to the committee at the next meeting, and we'll decide for November. Is that okay? Or do you want me to just communicate by email and then send out the notice? As long as we've got a week's notice, I think we're good. However you want me to do it, I'm fine.
I'm open myself.
Yeah. Are you saying that on the second? So is this the
This is the
this is the third week? Are you saying on the third week that we're the only committee that meets?
All commission and even the mayor would have the week off. So if you wanted to plan something, this would be the only committee that would stand in your way of planning a vacation time or time off. And that's what Commissioner Hill was saying. That it makes a little bit of sense to move that into a more compact.
No, I think we've moved on to that point. I think now we're to the point of the time of the day to meet 4:30 or later.
4:30,
It helps you.
right.
Now we're talking about what week in the month we're talking about. We've discarded. Carla tells me we've already got planned openings for October for
The 17th.
the 17th. So then what we need to do is go ahead and meet on the 17th, and then for November, that would be the first change of date. Is that acceptable? Because we already got things planned to open. I think it may be a little challenging to unwind some of that. Does that make sense?
A suggestion, if you moved it to the second week, that's a pretty jam-packed week, but you could do it a Wednesday afternoon, as an example, at whatever time, and it would still be before budget, and
Right.
we clear that up.
Okay.
So
If the members understand that 4:30 is the earliest we can meet, and then if you will look at your calendars and just send the chair some recommendations other than this week of this particular week of the month, that would be helpful. If you could do that this week, we can go ahead and put something together for the next meeting where then we can make a decision for the meet on November. I think we're a little bit constrained on moving in October because of the planned bid openings. Is that understood?
That's fine, yeah.
Is that understood, Commissioner P?
Oh, exactly.
Okay.
That's no problem.
Okay.
If you want to know my preference, it's either the first or second week.
I quite honestly, I don't know yet. I really
Yeah, I
don't
understand.
know. So I just need to get Rachel.
we can talk.
Yeah, we're good. So we'll plan on changing it at the October meeting for the following November meeting, if that's acceptable. Okay, excellent. And I will expect an email and I would like an email from everybody, even if it says no preference. That way I know that the chair has had an opportunity to hear from everybody. Is that okay? Fantastic. Okay. Next item of business. We're under advisement for the PAWS-Drug and medical supplies. So Michael Gregory, if you'll come forward and tell us what you found out and what hopefully your recommendation is, please.
Yes, sir. So I took the two bids and went back and compared those. You'll see those on the spreadsheet. The ones that are highlighted in green are the bids that are the lowest price. There are a couple of notes you'll see on page 2 where you see that one down there towards the bottom, you'll see where it says soda line at $90 versus $703. But one bid a certain pound bucket, the other bid a bag is cheaper per pound, but to go with the other one, even though when you see that figure, you go, that's not right. There's one medication where the concentration was different, so that's why we went with that one. And then you'll see that there are, on page 3 and page 4, I wanted to bring this to your attention. About middle ways down on page 3, you'll see where it says meds, and there's one out in that third column, Albon, for $71.40. And then on page 4, you'll see towards the top, there's a terramycin ointment out in the third column at $16.34. We've done this in the past. I wanted to bring it to your attention to see if we could do this again. There is one place that does not bid, but they do offer shelter pricing that they advertise to everyone. They send this out at the beginning of the calendar year for us. For those two particular items, they are basically the sole source for the Albon and the terramycin. I would like to use their price that they offer to shelters for those because it doesn't have the markup that the other two vendors have.
Any questions for Director Gregory?
And it's just for those two items?
That's the only two that we did not offer the same pricing as the shelter pricing for the items they do offer. Yes, sir.
On page 2, you got one FELV/FIV combo test.
Yes.
I see the biggest price difference in there.
The price.
Is that one that your other group would have a bid on?
It is what the price that Covetrus, the one that's $396.44, they actually match the price of the shelter pricing on that. So that's why I did go with them. It's usually just easier to order, and I can get a quicker turnaround for those tests, ordering from that distributor versus ordering direct from this company. But their pricing was the same.
So what are you saying? Are you saying what you've highlighted in green is what you would suggest we adopt? Or
Yes, sir.
you have one or the other? You can actually split the drugs that you're getting from two different, or actually three different groups?
Yes, we go based on item versus based on just an overall bid package. That way we ensure the best pricing per item.
that what you're doing?
Yes, sir. So
Right,
everyone in,
currently.
yes, sir. So everyone in green would be where I would order that particular item.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
With the exception of the item on number 3 and number 4?
Yes, sir. And like I said, I mean, we don't use that Albon very much, but if we do, that's a $25 price difference per bottle. We do go through quite a bit of terramycin. I mean, you're only talking, what, 86 cents their difference, but it's still 86 cents of taxpayer dollars.
Are these substantially higher than the contract that we're doing
It
now?
varied. I looked, some of the items were pretty close to the same or were the same. Some things went down because the Covetrus did not bid last time. We did have Midwest and MWI, so it kind of varied across the board. There were not anything, there wasn't any item that was like, wow, that's a huge price increase. They were all relatively close.
Some of the things are alarming, like breathing bag, whatever that means, $6 and $21 is
That's a big difference.
It is.
pretty substantial. So
Some
being
of them-
able to split that up, you can save a lot of money.
Yes, sir. And some of those places have their own off-brands of things, to where Covetrus may be bidding a Jorvet bag, or Midwest may be bidding their brand. So, you know, it's like buying an off-brand medicine from the pharmacy.
Like it's Kroger brand, right? Right. Kroger brand, right?
Here we go.
You called it.
Here we go. I didn't think it would come from Chairman Phillips, but I had no idea that wasn't.
Sneak up on you.
Huh?
Sneak up on
He
you.
snuck up on us. There's no question about it.
So your recommendation is to go with everything that's highlighted in green?
Yes, sir.
Move to approve, Mr.
We have a motion. Do we have and we have a second? Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Spending money. We got a roll call.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, excellent work on the spreadsheet.
Yes.
I know it took a little work, Michael, but this kind of information to the committee is invaluable into expediting the questions and getting the answers and getting the result, the desired result. So compliments on being prepared.
Thank you, sir. I stole it from EMS, so thank you.
I don't care where you got it. You have our compliment.
It worked. Thank you all.
Excellent. Bishop Wagner, solid waste, we're back to a front body refuse collection vehicle.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. So what I've taken this under advisement. What I've decided to do is to reject all of the bids that we received last month, as the bids were, and we're going to go with, I found a purchasing cooperative that's able to provide us with an adequate vehicle. I believe it's Sourcewell, and it just so happens that in the inadequate packet that we received from the bid package from the company that showed up kind of off the radar, they did have, they were able to supply me with the information. Their pricing was the lowest priced of the three, and it was the better vehicle for what we want. So I would make a recommendation that we reject these bids. Are these two different recommendations, or would they be one? So the first one would be that we reject the bids from last meeting.
I tell you what, let's do this. I want to make sure that we're proper with this particular package. We have a motion to under advisement to reject all bids. Do we have a second?
Second. Does that also mean rebid?
No, it does not mean that. It does not mean that at all. It just means we're formally rejecting the bids, and then based on that vote, we will take under advisement Bishop's recommendation for how to move forward. So there are two separate issues here: the rejection, and then what are we doing to move forward. But I just want to make sure we get this one done first. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the rejection of all the bids?
And it's just because they were not complete?
They were inadequate, they were late, they were not complete.
I think
And as Nick has said, we can reject without cause. We have the ability to reject just because we want to reject them. So But
In
anyway.
transparency, this company that submitted the 2 other bids, they no longer have the chassis that would, so we'd be out a considerable amount of time on being able to get the truck.
Yeah, there was a delivery time
Yes.
issue? Okay. Any other discussion?
I think the one bid that came in late was only 2 hours late, something like that. So it was pretty close. Makes sense.
Late's late.
Yeah.
I agree.
We don't get to make the rules. We do get to make the rules. The rules we make, we enforce. Let's have a roll. If there's no further discussion, I want a roll call vote on this, please.
Okay. Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Thank you. So that was a vote to reject all bids. Now, Bishop, you have a recommendation under Sourcewell, which is a known quantity for providing a number of different vehicles and other services to the county. Explain that, please.
So Sourcewell is a public purchasing cooperative that the state uses, and we use and have purchased other things in the past. Through them, it's a competitive price, and in this case, it was by far the lowest price of them. The typical hurdles that you have with the Sourcewell is the item that they're putting on the Sourcewell market is that item. There's no variances from what that is. To our benefit, though, the item that's on their Sourcewell, that's their bidding in the Sourcewell agreement is, in my opinion, of higher quality than the bids that we received back. And without getting too technical, the body, the chassis for these were LR chassis, which are a little smaller chassis. The chassis that's on these, the trucks that I'd like to purchase, are the full-size Max that are compatible with the ones that we have. There were some questions that I had about the body. It's a different type of body. I've had some time to review the Labrie body that's offered with this truck, and I find that it's going to be actually a pretty nice benefit.
So there were, if I could, there were 3 essential components, if I remember correctly. There was the horsepower rating of the truck. What's the horsepower rating of the
This
truck?
is the 350 that was requested in the original bid package
Okay.
because it's the larger truck.
Okay, and then the second was the body, the
Body capacity.
yes, sir. What is that?
42 with hopper.
And
So
who is that?
that's Labrie. That's
Labrie.
yeah.
Okay, because I think the other one was Heil, was it not?
There was
Yes,
a
okay.
Heil, and then there was a Mammoth or a New Wave. Where
Okay, so and this is all going on a Mack chassis, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Maintenance.
The maintenance of the body is going to be their closest place is Memphis. The closest place for one of them that we're doing now, one of the others that I have in my fleet is Kentucky. So the difference is negligible on getting people out there. I'm assured that they'll send someone out and cover any warranty items that they have on there. Now, we won't go into an individual maintenance contract like we have with our Mack trucks. I've got a contract for maintenance through Mack Mahan in Nashville that will take this truck in to that.
They're the Mack dealer, correct?
The Mack dealer, yes. So the chassis is covered. The body would be like it would be with our Mammoth bodies, where we call somebody in from Louisville. Instead of calling him in from Louisville, we'd call him in from Memphis, from their repair facility there.
What is the price?
It is three.
We never, we want to know what the price is, right, gentlemen?
$352,336.
What does that compare to the last ones that you took under advisement?
This was the Mammoth body, I believe. Let me make sure that's the case with this one. No, this is the Heil body. The Heil body was $415,715.52. And the Mammoth body was $367,608.63.
Cheap. And the one you're recommending is 350 something,
352.
352, 336.
and it's what you want.
Yes, sir.
And did you say this come up with the state bid?
Off the Sourcewell contract, yes, sir.
That's one of the co-ops we opted to in the past to buy from, so I remember doing that. But
Move to accept this bid.
We have a motion,
Second.
we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Carla, if you'll call the roll, please.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. One final question.
Yes, sir.
Estimated time of delivery?
I spoke with him this afternoon and notification that I was going to recommend this today, and he told me that he has a truck ready. It's just a matter of getting it delivered it's in Ohio, so,
Are we talking a couple of weeks?
couple of weeks maximum.
Wow.
So, as soon as we can get the PO process and get the wheels moving on that way, I think we'll be on our way to have a truck on the ground.
You have the person who can generate that sitting right here, so.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Bishop.
Yeah, come on by if you want to ride in it.
I do.
Oh,
As
yeah.
a matter of fact, I want to drive it.
Come on by. We're gonna have to check your CDL. Have a good evening.
Thanks,
man.
y'all.
Surplus weapons for sale.
No, installation.
Oh, installation, I'm sorry, installation of Upfit equipment from law enforcement. Steve Spence.
Yes. This is our upfitting our marked patrol units, all the safety equipment, lights and screens and so forth. I looked at all the bids on Trucker's Lighthouse bid, the $11,270. It actually comes out to $11,650. They had gave individual prices on items that we needed more than one, including LED lights, lights on brush guard and all that. Then On Duty Depot's bid was $11,697, which is $47 more than Truckers. I'd like to recommend both companies. That would give us accessibility. If we get behind Truckers we use now and they get backlogged doing Metro's cars and other agencies, and having On Duty, which is coming here in Murfreesboro in October, will give us flexibility to take cars to different locations.
Steve, why do you need that flexibility? What is it that
To get our patrol cars out on the streets.
are, exactly, so are we having trouble getting our patrol cars?
Yes, sir, we
out?
are. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And we're just now getting cars outfitted from last year's budget.
Oh, my.
And it's due to Truckers being backlogged with all their business.
Okay,
So we're hopefully
okay.
thinking both of them's going to help us.
Questions?
Have we used both of them before?
No, this will be the first time we use On Duty. We've been with Truckers Lighthouse for the last few years.
So if we find out the relationship with
On Duty Depot,
is not satisfactory, then we're certainly not obligated in any way?
no, sir, no.
Excellent.
We're hoping the relationship's good. That way we're here at home and we can,
Good.
in our backyard.
Gotcha. Any further discussion?
Move to approve both of them.
Move to approve. We have
The recommendation.
the recommendation. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
Did you say this is just the light bars, that kind of thing, or is this the radios and all of it, or what exactly is?
No, so the radios comes from Motorola or Nashcom, and EMA buys the radios out of their budget to put in our patrol cars. This is the light bars, the brush guards, screens, the plastic seats we put in the back of patrol cars to keep the diseases. You know, they can be washed out.
All right.
Any further questions or comments?
Pretty much everything except radio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They even put the fire extinguishers in.
Seeing none, Carl, call the roll, please.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Spence, it looks like we're deferring to next month. Surplus, can you explain?
Yes, sir. We was going to bring the prices we got given to our guns we're surplusing, but the deadline was next week. We got confused on the date, so it's going to be, I have to bring it to next month's meeting.
It wouldn't be Sheriff Fitzhugh who got confused, would it?
No, sir. No, sir, not at all.
He doesn't get confused, does he?
No, sir. He doesn't.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
I feel like there's
Yes,
a
he is.
story behind it.
There is.
Okay, well, Hank, stay around.
I don't think there is any action on the part of the committee in that regard, so we'll just put that, make sure that goes on the next week's agenda.
Yeah.
Thank
Is
you
that
all.
it? Thank you, sir.
Have a good evening.
Thanks, sir. Have a good one.
All right, we do have a new bid for metal buildings for construction. Mr. Shue.
Can I have that copy?
Rob, what are we doing, brother?
We're gonna have these signed. This one. It's
We're gonna
for
build a
Turner.
metal storage
Oh,
building
yeah, thanks.
at the new, where we've moved to over off Haley Road to put all our equipment in, some of which is sitting outside right now. We have a whole boom lift, tractors, mowers, trailers, a lot of equipment that we don't have anywhere to put. So some of it sits outside right now.
Where is the location again?
1132 Haley Road.
Jeff, you need to sign.
Used to be
That's
the
last bid.
That's
vocational
what, yeah,
training.
just approved.
You got-
I didn't hear the
Hey.
name of the road you were saying,
Yeah.
so I'm good.
How large of
40 by 60. 40 by 60, two 12 by 10 doors, one man door, no windows. No electrical, because we'll put the electrical.
fully
in
enclosed?
ourselves. We have electricians. The
Fully-
lighting,
Fully enclosed,
yes.
so it's not a lean-to.
So
No,
what's-
it's a post-frame construction.
Hey, I got 4
what's the-
lean-tos on my
what's the
farm.
height?
Don't knock lean-tos,
Yes.
man.
What's the height of the building?
Uh, It's 14 foot at the east.
So, we only got one bid?
We got two.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had 4 people come and look at the site, and that was not one of them.
Oh,
But some of these,
Summertown Metals?
no, the one I'm opening now.
I know these people, Summertown.
Is this in our budget?
Do what now?
Is this in the budget? How do we come?
we budgeted it for last year's budget, but towards the end of the year, we had some other projects or issues that came up, mostly HVAC. So we just held off. We still had enough last year, but we just decided to hold off and see how it went this year.
So it's concrete flooring,
Yes, sir.
the eaves, what kind of hangover?
No overhead.
Been built on asphalt or gravel or what?
It's gonna be built on gravel,
There's
With
the
a 4-inch
second
concrete.
bit.
floor with the. So we looked into this last year. Another issue we ran into is the building that we had designed was somewhat custom, and it turned into $80,000. So that's another reason we held off, was to research this a little more, and just build something that's functional instead of somebody's dream. This is functional.
So, Rob, I got a question that Chairman Phillips is already leading the charge on. We got a huge discrepancy in the bid pricing, which automatically for me raises, I wouldn't say it's a red flag, but it's the flag. It may not be red, but I'm going either somebody's real high or somebody missed something.
So this is from Ross,
Right.
and this company, I looked them up because I'd never heard of them. They never contacted me. They saw it in the papers.
Yeah.
And they're actually a facilities maintenance company. I don't see anywhere on their website that they actually build buildings. So when I looked them up, because we just heard today that we had this bid, I'm not sure why they bid on it. If you go to their website, they don't.
So
Do
and so they're higher by well over $100,000.
Yeah.
So my question to you is how much time do you need to review the alternate bid?
This bid,
Summertown Metals.
Summertown, when I set up the budgetary pricing to get some numbers put in here, this is one of the companies I worked with, Watson Metals, Summertown. I went through Metal Max to try to find some post-frame construction builders there. And these were the guys to beat over a year ago. So when we changed this building around so that it was something that's a standard to them, rather than a 50 by 50 non-standard it just changed the whole building construction. And we came back and looked at this as what was
would actually work for us. Summertime is still the one to beat.
I understand that's on the price, but have you had an opportunity, enough time to review the bid to either make a recommendation today or to defer till the next purchasing meeting? I guess what I'm looking for some guidance from you, since you're familiar with this.
I would make a recommendation today to accept Summertown's bid.
That's what I was looking for. Something to that, in that regard. Questions or comments for Mr. Shue on the recommendation?
I'll make a motion to accept his recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further questions for Mr. Shue on the recommendation? Seeing none, Carla, call the roll.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. And if you'll pass, yes, that around and sign.
We got it.
Is there any other business that the committee needs to consider? Seeing none, we are adjourned.